You're ready.
3, 2, and
welcome everybody to the 48th episode of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube as always with my co-host Stefan Loeffler at Junk Wax Twins, Ben Wilson at our Trading Cards. I'm Tim Schupler, Big Ship 79. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors, and we hope to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on YouTube. You can always follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're available on iTunes and Stitcher.
10 Central.
10 Central. Yes, I forgot 10 Central. And then check out our website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com, and come check us out there. And we have a new article up that Ben wrote, and then we'll have some new reviews up hopefully tomorrow and get them done. But first, before we get further into the show, we have a special guest tonight, with us tonight. We have Drew from Let Me Get That Potograph. What's up, Drew? Thanks for jumping in with us.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we're very excited. We like to have new guests on, and why don't you give us a little background on you, how you got started collecting, and your podcast?
Sure. Well, started Let Me Get That Potograph about a year and a half ago. Myself and my former co-host passed away. We started it about a year ago. I've been a collector my entire life since I was a little kid. I'm 34 now, so I grew up through that whole junk era phase and everything. Saw that whole bubble burst and saw the hobby come back. And a couple of years ago, my son was born, and that, I think, like a lot of us through that era, that got me right back into it pretty heavily. Just really haven't slowed down since then, and I've myself started a show. Have a journalism major, been doing a lot of different shows. I've done some previous podcasts that were sports related, Panthers related, stuff like that, and really just focused in on the hobby and started one, and it took off, and the rest, they say, is history.
Well, yeah, outstanding. So when we were a kid, what were you collecting? Who's your team, your guy?
Well, when I was a kid, I was a diehard hockey collector when I was a kid. So I was a big Colorado Avalanche fan. Patrick Waugh, Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg. Those were my guys growing up big time. I still dabbled in all the other stuff. I was always an old school Marlins collector with Dontrelle Willis. Tim Hardaway, favorite basketball player. Pretty much if they were on the Heat, Hornets, Marlins, or Avalanche, I was collecting them as a kid.
I was a big Alonzo Mourning guy. When they used to come to town, I remember one year I had my Mourning jersey on. I was in junior high, 6th or 7th or 7th or 8th grade, and he made a dunk and we against the Kings. The Kings were really terrible at this point, and a guy behind me dumps a beer on me because I was rooting for Alonzo Mourning, and my dad, I was about to tear the guy's head off.
Yeah,
and I can't. I look back going as an adult now, like who would do that to a 13 or 14-year-old? And at the time, I was like almost 6 feet tall. So I'm like, really, like I was a big giant kid. And I'm like, now I would have beat his ass, 2 years after that, I would have done that. But, I loved those Hornets teams when they got the first and then the second pick back-to-back years. It really helped shoot off that team. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so there was a big discussion. Kind of what got us talking this week was you had a tweet out of, and it caught my eye because it's my favorite design, the 87 Topps.
Yeah.
But it was a Zion Williamson signed, in quotes, autograph card, a Future Stars rookie card that was by some grading company, like 5-star grading, and it's hand signed and it's in, like a made up 87 Topps design. And, I think the winning bid was $200 and it says the auto is authenticated and the auto is terrible.
Yeah.
And, I've not seen one of his autos, but it's just like a Z and a W with a number 1 that looks just, handmade. And you talked about, wishing eBay would stop allowing this crap and the fake COAs and fake slaps and fake autos is just absurd. So we agree with that. We kind of got a good discussion going on all that stuff, and we've heard about card trimming and people putting those in buyback products and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that tonight?
yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks in the hobby, especially when it comes to slabs and everything. I mean, just today, I think there was 70 something more. They looked at Steph Curry and James Harden rookies and found 70 plus that were trimmed, altered, damage fixed. I mean, it seems every single day. Some of those guys on Blowout, man, they're really they do their due diligence, as I know you guys know. There's some guys that, I mean, it's mind blowing what they can find. But over the last few, month or so, really, you're starting to see a lot of this stuff coming out. Now with the Zion itself, it's just that one's just absurd to me. I mean, we all know that there's a million fakes everywhere on eBay, admin and scammers. We see so many of them all the time, but Zion itself, I don't know what even made me look for those. I saw the lottery coming up and I was like, I wonder what's out there for Zion. And first thing I see is a slab and I'm like, okay, we'll take a look at it. And Zion's autograph's pretty awful to begin with, as you were saying, that one that looks hand drawn. I mean, it's not a great auto that he has in general, but that excuse for an autograph in particular was just pathetic.
Yeah, Steph's pulling up a photo of it here. It just, to me, it's we've talked about grading before, and is it worth it, and that kind of, that thing. And we've talked. The three of us aren't huge graders. We each have a handful of graded cards, but at what point do we have to go back and look at these companies and go, collectors are spending a ton of money to get their stuff authenticated and graded by you, yet you can't tell if the card has been altered in any such way, or if you've graded the card before, because, I heard on Sports Card Radio, there was one card that had been graded twice, both by PSA. It was a serial numbered card.
Yep. And
they don't even have a database to look. Have we graded this card before? Something that pops up, this number, out of 100 cards been graded twice now. Like, that's weird. Why is that happening? So what belief do we really have left, right? In these graders. So what are your thoughts there of grading and what it means now to the hobby? Should we look at that as basically like the steroid era in baseball, like they all were doing it and they're all fakes?
Yeah, I mean, I've got mixed feelings on grade. For one, I do think grading is completely out of hand right now. I don't need to see 850 Mike Soraka Top Series 1 rookie cards graded a Gem Mint 10. I mean, they don't need to exist. It drives me crazy when I see I'm in a bunch of bulk subgroups and I see the ones that come back, and it just blows my mind why these cards are being graded in the first place. But I think grading has its place. I just wish, I don't care what it takes to get the process. The process is completely, like you alluded to earlier, it's the most untransparent thing in the entire world. You send it in, you get it back in a slab, and you just assume that that's all right. There's no pictures showing you where those flaws are, showing you which edge made it go to a 9 in the case of BGS. I don't want to limit it to just PSA either. They've all got some major issues. I really think, to me, it wouldn't matter if they jacked the price up 10 times the amount and the turnaround times took forever. If we had a transparent system that was giving you a full-on report on those cards to help, like you said, serial number cards. There's no excuse for another serial number card to be graded twice, but we see it all the time with like Russell Wilson contenders. I know they weren't serial numbered, but there's a print run of them announced. There's been, I think, 3 times as many of them graded because people crack them and resubmit them a million times.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me, right?
No, the whole system is broken, and I think it's a great service to have, but if the system isn't fixed and transparency isn't there, that premium that people look at for grading, does it really exist anymore? Are we really just paying for it being protected?
Well, yeah, and two, I have a feeling that, I've heard before where somebody's said, hey, I submitted this card and I got this grade. And a dealer said, well, I have a guy in grading I send all my stuff to that he grades for me.
Yeah.
Right. Which is what I was going to touch. They say that they're overbooked and overworked, and they very well may be. However, my question would be, one person's 3 is not another person's 5. It shouldn't be subjective, but it seems like some cards are.
No, absolutely. And I mean, I think you're also seeing recently a lot of evidence showing that, submitting with some certain people, like, I mean, PWCC, I hate to, kind of throw them under the bus, but I mean, look at the last couple of weeks. I mean, you pull all of this stuff together, and I mean, it looks more and more like favoritism. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on that, like I said, the lack of transparency is what's killing it. And I think it's something that I hope, Beckett and PSA, I'm just taking them as the biggest example because they're obviously the 2 biggest, but they've always been good at adapting to things. But this is something that I'd be really careful with, because there was a long time that people they didn't care. They just wanted it slabbed, and the more they could get slabbed, the better. The more we could get there, the better. But I think you're seeing now that when you get to that point and you submit this much stuff and you don't demand those high standards, you're seeing what happens.
Yeah, no, you're kind of getting what you pay for now, and that's it's scary because so many high end or valuable cards to people or have been looked at and graded and authenticated, and at the end of the day, what does it mean, and how much is that going to stand up and be of value anymore to people that own those that pay top dollar for them? And I've heard people say, I'm stopping grading. I'm not doing it anymore, which I think, it's their right to do, but I also think too, it's in the long run, it might be the smarter thing. When you sell a card, you might lose a few bucks on it not being graded, but then you're not beholden to it being lost or to someone's subjectivity to it, or doing, any damage goes to it in transport. We've seen numerous cases where BGS is sent cases back smashed, destroyed. And then grading facsimile autographs. How do you do that?
I know.
Being overworked.
I mean, it's insane what I see graded sometimes.
Turn the card over.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, no, it's just crazy. When I know you said you're the show, your podcast, it's kind of been, it's not been something that you've really tried to or wanted to be doing lately, and we definitely understand that with Stu's passing, and but when can we maybe expect another show? When does it, when would we see? Where can where can our listeners find it if they haven't listened to it before? And
no, absolutely, yeah. I'm actually gonna have a new episode out here in a couple of days. Took a few weeks off, obviously, and next few months and stuff leading up to the national, we'll be back to our regular. I'll be back to our regular weekly, program. We normally release an episode every Thursday or Friday. You can find us on pretty much anywhere podcasts are on: SoundCloud, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play, all those wonderful places, and pretty active on Twitter and Facebook all the time at LGTP Podcast, or just type in "Let Me Get That Potograph." And
one of my favorite names.
To
Let Me Get That Potograph. The first time I heard it was amazing. I was just like, that's awesome.
that came from a late night DM conversation with Brooke Francisco from Beckett, for throwing out the most ridiculous thing to think of, and I threw it out and she laughed and stuck. So
well, you mentioned it, and quickly before we kill the segment here, but are you going to the national this year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I actually, I'll go on and announce it on this show because we haven't announced it on ours yet. But
sorry,
I'll actually be doing an episode. Let me get that potograph from the main stage at the national this year. We don't know yet.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
So we're gonna have a really fun interactive show going on. A lot of really cool guests signed up. We're still still getting all the logistics set up. But yeah, I'll be at the National this year. At the Wax Pack Nation booth yet again, just like last year. And we'll have Tim Carroll up there, the artist, doing his thing like last
Very
year.
nice.
Yeah, a lot of really fun stuff. I think we have almost 3 times the size of spaces last year, so we'll have a pretty big area set up. And yeah, I'll be there all week doing the show, walking around, doing a bunch of video and audio. You guys going?
Well, that's what I was asking. You'll have to shoot me what booth and let me know what day you're going to be on the main floor, because all but officially, I think we're going this year.
Steph will be our representation to the show this year.
Of course.
Awesome.
One thing real quick, Drew, you mentioned a couple of times, we spoke before the show, for those that are active on Facebook, you are one of the admins for the Scammers group. If you want to let people know a little bit about that group and the purpose behind it and what they can expect if they go over to Facebook and join if they haven't yet.
Absolutely. So if you guys are involved on any trading or buying, selling anything online, this is, at least in my opinion, a group that you really need to be a part of. And if you're not on Facebook, there is a website as well that you can go to. You can check out Hobby Scams on Twitter, or it's sportscardscams.info, and you can go there. But what it is we have a comprehensive list down from eBay to Twitter to Instagram to Facebook, where it has a comprehensive list of pretty much anyone that's had any issues in the hobby. So if you're doing a deal with somebody that you're unfamiliar with, or somebody maybe sending up some red flags, maybe they said I know that's one of their favorites. Check the list. It's a great place to double check, to just give yourself that little bit of extra security when you're doing these transactions, because there are millions of amazing people in this hobby, but sadly there's quite a few that have got a pretty good system going on and grab quite a bit of people. So definitely check it out. It's called Sports Card Scammers Exposed, and it is public, so you will be able to find it if you search.
Awesome. Whenever we have a guest on, we always ask, if you could only own one card, what card would that be?
Oh man. All right. Wow, you got me on a tough one here. Let's see. I guess we'd probably. I'm a Topps Chrome collector. I super collect Panthers Topps Chrome. So I'd say my holy grail card would probably be the Luke Kuechly Super Fractor Auto from Topps Chrome.
Oh, there we go.
If I could own that, I'd be happy. The Cam Newton Crystal Atomic or Super's right behind it, but you give me that Kuechly Super, I'd be a happy man.
Yeah, I miss Topps Chrome football. I had a conversation about it today at the LCS. A guy came in, he bought the last 6 boxes they had of the 15 Chrome.
Nice.
And he's like, I have about 100 sitting at home. I'm sitting on, and I open one a month because I'm afraid when it goes away, I'll never want to collect football again.
Yeah, trust me, I completely understand. Like I said, I'm a diehard Topps Chrome collector. That's what 90% of my PC is. And I really wish it would come back for football quick.
I wish they would get football. Yeah, definitely. Well, Drew, we appreciate you hanging out with us tonight and sharing your thoughts. It was great, and you have an awesome podcast. And if you guys haven't checked it out, please do. Let me get that podograph on wherever you find whenever you found our podcast. You can find there Drew's podcast, and it was great fun and good to see in person. And been able to listen for a while, so it's great to actually see kind of fit, I guess, eye to eye. So thank you very much, and have a great night. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, guys. I absolutely love the show as well, and hope to have you guys on the show.
Yeah, anytime. You let us know, brother.
We're available.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
All right, have a good night.
We'll see you, Drew.
As always, having a great guest like Drew on. We love doing that and sharing the hobby, and it's good to get other opinions than the 3 chuckleheads that are on our show normally. And I just want to announce that we have another PSA. Woo, woo, woo. I need to get like an alarm and a bell in here. Steph is a pack feeler. It came out this week, breaking news on Twitter, that he does nothing but feel packs. Right now, I can guarantee there's a pack of 87 Topps in his little grubby hands. You can just rubbing that pack, feeling it. No, the reason that came up is Steph was talking about getting a metal detector for the 92 Donruss.
Yeah, well, allegedly, I'd heard from one or two people that if you take a metal detector to a case of Donners from that year, that you can detect whether they have elites or not. I've never done it. Coincidentally, the person who told me it sold me one box and it had elite Will Clark in it. So
You still have that Will Clark Elite?
I sent it to Vosbrink.
And this was Steph's last show on About the Cards podcast. So that's what's funny. And then I saw Steph in the notes changed. Steph is not a pack feeler, but I changed it back, so he is. Yeah. So
random tidbit. My parents just bought a brand new car, and I noticed that in their in-dash stereo system that you can connect Bluetooth and all the newfangled stuff that their old 2000 Chevy Blazer can do. But it also has a link to launch Stitcher. So they have no excuse for not listening to the show. Not that they're not listening to it downstairs right now, because I can hear it. But I thought you guys would like that little tidbit.
Yeah. You know, Steph said he's not taking out the trash anymore, so I don't know what needs to be done there.
I did this morning, but
you said that's the last time.
Can we recommend that they ground him since he's living at home? I mean, is this something we can have a vote? It's two yays for us
to be involved in this vote, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, mom and dad say yay, you and I say yay. It's 4-1.
I'm going back to funneling packs.
Yes. So we're going to hop in the week that was last week's release. Week 61 of Topps Living. Goldschmidt as a Cardinal. We had card 81 was Paul Goldschmidt, first baseman, was St. Louis Cardinal. Card 182, Ramon Laureano, rookie outfielder of the Oakland A's. And then card 183, Howie Kendrick, still of the Washington Nationals.
About 25 more, Ben.
Yeah. Goldschmidt finished too shy of 3,100. Laureano, 25 short of 3,000. And Howie Kendrick just over 2,600. To get all the stats, please check out at Topps Living Stat on Twitter for a full breakdown of where all these cards fall respectively in the set by team and position. Real quick, I did pick up a handful of Laureano, so I'm glad he's under 3K. It's a good number as far as a investment, right? No. I like the kid. He is I just like the player. He's what baseball needs. He's what the A's need.
So fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he makes baseball fun again.
Watching him tag up from second to third on a play where you absolutely know he's going to get third, and just watching the intensity in which he runs, you would swear that his feet were on fire and he's got to run to the water.
Well, and it tells you how deep the Astros farm system really has been, because wasn't he an Astros prospect?
Yeah, they literally, Jeff Lunau said, we could not find a spot for him. We loved him.
Yeah.
And the A's, you want to talk about a steal. And I've talked to our friend Chef Chris 49er on Twitter. And Chris is a huge Laureano guy. He's the one that keeps putting together the Laureano rainbows. And I'd be curious to know his actual amount that he bought this week. But
2,000.
I tell him all the time, I was like, dude, Ramon literally could go 0 for 600 on a season. But watching him play defense is such a treat. And he's robbed 2 home runs this year. You know, he's got 6 or 7 outfield assists, if not more. I might be off on that.
Kind of been really under the radar, kind of came out of nowhere, really, right? I mean, because his name had never popped to me before the season, and it's great to see. And
same here.
Yeah. And so it's great to see. And Dub in the chat says 2,600 people bought Kendrick. Yeah. Right. You know, how many did he buy?
Well, he's the new low, is he not? Didn't he surpass Markakis and take the crown?
Yes, he did.
We would have to look at our friend Topps Living Stat once again.
I'm looking right now. Markakis was 2,670 or 2,678. He was 2,633. So Howie Kendrick is the one to own now. It's a $7,000 card. Should have bought it. Dang it. Me talking trash. We also had, I think it came up this week, got pushed back. We did talk about last week, 18-19 Panini Spectra basketball. And we also had 2019 Topps Tier 1 baseball, which we will have a review of in the next handful of days by Ben himself. So, No, boom, no dessert for Steph either. That is correct. Hot off the presses, this week's releases, Topps Living Week 62. They almost made it right. It was almost perfect. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So card 184, Hall of Fame outfielder Alkaline, or Alkaline, as I like to call him, from the Detroit Tigers. Great looking photo. You get a very, 60s vibe from the photo. Card 185, UC Kikuchi, the rookie pitcher for the Seattle Mariners. Got all the pine tar on his hat. And card 186, Jaiman Choi, first baseman of the Rays. They really messed up. And I tweeted out earlier that they should have had, and the guy's name is slipping my head right now, the first MLB player from Japan should have been the veteran in this set.
Musunori.
Yes. Or even like to show Shinjo, like throw him in there.
Kenji Jojima.
Yeah, Kenji Jojima, or Hideki Arabu, or Hideo Nomo. Right? Hideo Nomo would be a good pick. And it would have kind of tied, the Asian heritage for all these guys together. But it is what it is. I know a lot of people were really excited about K-Line. And it's a great looking.
It really is.
Well, we've been waiting for another Tiger forever, right? I mean, the Tigers are one of the most, if not the most, underrepresented teams, despite being one of the original, it's just.
They're up to 4.
We've been waiting for one for a long time. The Tigers, in theory, should have 7 or 8 by now.
Yeah, they only have 4. The Royals are the most underrepresented now with 3. Come on, George Brett.
We don't need to hear about what you do in your spare time.
By the way, happy birthday, George Brett. Today is his 66th birthday.
Which is a coincidence because he's the 66th greatest third baseman of all time. So it's kind of fitting. And
it's also would have been Arnold Palmer's birthday today. And the reason I know all this, it would have been my grandpa Shepler's 90th birthday today. I miss you, Gramps. Love you, bud. He was awesome. He was a high school football coach and athletic director for like 30-some years in Kansas. He had 2 guys playing in the NFL. Don Calhoun of the New England Patriots in the 70s played at K-State, and some guy named Barry Sanders. So I don't know if you've heard of him before. So
also John Smoltz, Josh Beckett, and personally Justin Morneau's birthday.
Good. See, 5/15 is a good day.
Also Brian Dozier.
Yeah, happy birthday to everybody that is with us and no longer with us.
Yeah,
indeed.
So we also had 2019 Topps Big League launch today, and you know what? I'm a fan. You can get a box for around $40, 24 packs a box, 10 cards per pack. You're going to get 24 gold parallels, so 1 per pack. The 400-card base set's the second year of this product. It replaced Topps Bunt Physical 2 years ago, or last year. It's what Topps is calling the season's most comprehensive base set for a single series. So it's 400 cards, and you have Series 1, 2, and Update, which total is more cards, but 3 separate releases. You have 400 base in this one. There's variations. There's 3. Card 6 is Fernando Tatis, which I believe is his jersey number. You also have card 20 for Pete Alonso, and that's his jersey. And then card 74, Eloy Jimenez. And so each one of these has a veteran in its place, and these 3 rookies are short prints, but they're not supposedly super-duper short prints. So
there's talk that they're like the Players Weekend from last year, which were short prints, but they were, every couple of pack short prints, not
I opened 2 boxes and didn't pull one. I heard they're like one every, and there's 20 boxes in a case. So, yeah, that is I pulled that Matt Chapman or Matt Carpenter right there, that caricature, and I'm doing the review on this, and that will be in the review. Holy smokes, that insert set is amazing. I'm not going to blow all the steam talking about it right now because I want you guys to check out our review on aboutthecards.wordpress.com. Should be up by Friday.
For Boss Brink, does that look like Doofex, or is that just me?
Doofex. Kind of does. It's a neat product. It's a really good break for, I think, anybody, but definitely your younger collectors is what it's kind of geared towards. But I opened 2 boxes, had a ton of fun. I pulled an auto of Jeff McNeil, which is like 1 in every 160 packs. So every couple 6 or 7 boxes. and sold it already. I mean, it was a quick turnaround.
Would you say that it's like a step above opening day?
Yeah, the thing I like about it that was different is opening day is such a variation of series of a flagship. It's almost it's the same looking design. It has just a different photo and has the opening date pendant on it. This had a different feel too. I think the card stock was a little better, and it had good information on it. Like I was going through them last night. I just like the feel of the cards, the look of the cards. It has some cool. It has always all the cards have a did you know, which I loved as a kid. And at the very bottom and the top of the stats, it has more information, a little blurb about the player. So it kind of takes you back to like a back of an 87 or 88 tops, which I thought was fun. So,
I think the big league. Just after the 1 year, I've not seen it yet this year in person. But the caricatures are phenomenal. They were last year.
Dude, I can't wait to
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see everything in person. I would think that this is probably one of my top 5 sets. That quick. I mean, Stadium Club, Gypsy Queen for me personally are my 1 and 2. Big League is definitely in the running for 3, 4, or 5. I mean, and it's affordable-ish, which is nice. If you're looking to put together a complete set or just grab your favorite team or players.
Yeah, and
I personally think it was like the best new set that they'd released in a few years.
Mm-hmm. It has a different look, and then also too that right there, Steph, those blast off cards are super cool. They just to give you an idea, the inserts in this set reminded me of early '90s Score inserts. Had some of the best inserts, and we've talked about how I love 91 and 92 Score just based on the inserts alone. I don't give a shit. You can toss the base away. Give me those subsets in there.
Yeah, I was thinking mid 90s Pinnacle.
Oh yeah, Pinnacle Score. Man, miss you guys. It was good. Also, too, releasing this week, 2019 Panini Prism Baseball. If you need some Chrome fix early on, it's $120 a box.
Prism fix.
The first off the line boxes were $250, and the specialty there is you're going to get 3 shimmers numbered to 3 shimmer prisms numbered to 7, and 1 rookie auto shimmer numbered to 7 per box. A normal box is going to give you 12 packs, 12 cards per pack. You're going to get 3 autos, 4 blue prism, 4 red prism, 3 silver, and 12 inserts. It's a 300 card base set with 3 tiers. Each card has more than 20 different prism parallels in so you got a massive rainbow of colors and patterns to pick up this year if you're trying to do that.
That looks amazing.
Yeah. So I've not seen any of these in person. Again, you're missing logos and stuff, but it's the way that they do this is a lot of them are swinging photos or back shots or action photos, so you're not really feel like you're missing the logo based on where the player is. So, and by the way,
I noticed this at work the other day. Is it just me, or does he kind of look like Barry Bonds?
A little bit. Maybe
every now and then, like their photos just make him look like it.
On Soto.
I don't see the Soto Bonds connection, but
right there where that swing is and that smile, Bonds without the stash.
And like 30 pounds.
Yes. Real quick, Jake from NorCal says, I love 87 Tops as well. Forever will you be liked on this podcast.
That's true. You get to go into the vault of 87 Tops, as we've mentioned many times.
Birth year, best year.
Yeah.
No, I've picked up a couple of the Prism singles, a couple of the color refractors. Prism is a solid set, and all the hate the Panini gets, they do a good job as best as they can with masking the logos
on most stuff.
I mean, it's hard, especially when you're doing them time after time. If you release 5, 6 sets, I'm really looking forward. I know this is not on the horizon quite yet, a week or 2 out, but the leather and lumber set that Panini's going to come out. They've also got the lumberjack inserts in there, phenomenal looking, and
they really are. And it looks like they're die cut too.
Yeah, Ryan Cracknell said that they should have had the guys, even if it was photoshopped in lumberjack outfits. It's a power hitter. Aaron Judge, I'm sure Chris Davis will be on the checklist. The guys that
Let's be honest. Cracknell wants to see guys just dressed as lumberjacks being from Canada, and he wants them to be pouring maple syrup over their heads.
Vermont.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying, those Canadians can get a little wild.
there's that
Don't you?
score Kirby Puckett.
Yes, with Kirby's titties. Let's not go down that road again.
Panini does have a lot of awesome ideas when it comes to inserts. Whether you like the logo or not, you got to at least give them credit that some of their inserts look great. So
I'm not putting that in my mouth.
Well, what about this?
Oh, Kirby's titties. There we go. What's up, dog? You don't get away with that card these days.
No, they probably wouldn't.
No.
but we can move on. This is a really good segue into whatever's coming up next.
What's brewing? Next week's release is 2019 Panini Legacy Football, 2019 Topps Pro Debut Baseball, and 2018-19 Upper Deck Chronicles Hockey. You know what? I'm finally on. Let's go Sharks. Now that I'm on the bandwagon, they're gonna win it all. Let's do this.
Oh, they won tonight.
Yes. Let's do it.
In overtime.
Yeah. Well, doesn't matter.
I'm personally pulling for Sharks, Carolina.
You missed an early episode last summer where we covered Score and Kirby's titties in great detail, and Steph actually missed that show. Yeah, it was just Ben and I. That's why we got off the rails that night. So, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that Kirby is a little bit X-rated. We do apologize. There should have been a warning. So we talked with Drew just for a sec before we got on tonight, and it brings us in the Infield chat or a hobby talk section. The NBA lottery, I just added these to the notes. Zion Williamson's coming out of the draft, right? Last time we had the lottery, and the New Orleans Pelicans won, and I was really happy because the New York Knicks did not win, and the Lakers did not win. And the Kings got the 14th pick, which ended up going to Boston because they traded away in a terrible trade, which now at the end washed out. Looks like a great deal, right? But like Drew brought up, Zion could go back to Duke. So, God, that could be terrible for New Orleans.
Yeah, but even worse, wouldn't it be worse for Zion's image because it makes him look like a crybaby? I mean, he's been anointed the number one pick for a year now.
Yeah.
And last night on the show, they mentioned it like 6 times. Just wait, Zion. You're going to find out in a few minutes where you're going. It's like he's not the only prospect in the draft, folks. We don't need to, you're putting him at number 1 because that's the assumption, and we all know that's where he's going. If he bails on New Orleans now and goes back to Duke, that's going to hurt his image moving forward, regardless of where he ends up in the 2020 draft.
But at the same time, would you take that to have your chances rolled back and to go somewhere else? I mean, you're taking the chance out on getting hurt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just watched a good 30 on 30 about Felipe Lopez and how he didn't come out of high school in '94. Instead went to St. John's. And the next year, Garnett went pro, and he had, it's a really good watch. And everybody remembers Felipe Lopez. He was LeBron James before LeBron James, high school phenom guy, and he was a can't-miss guy. My thought is that, he goes back, but Eli Manning bitched and moaned when he was the first pick by the Chargers and got traded to the Giants and forced his way into New York. I think Zion should stay in the draft, but I like seeing these Orleans do this. Hopefully they can trade Anthony Davis, get a ton of picks and some young players back and fleece somebody for a guy that can barely play 60 games a season and build this team up. So when they move to Seattle in 2 years, or Kansas City, because that's where they're going to end up because Memphis will be moved to the other city. Just a heads up. I didn't know if you knew that. That's what's going to happen.
It just not that I'm a basketball fan, but speaking from a sports perspective point, it just seems like you're boning the team that the league is by, well, okay, so you draft him, but you can't have him, but now he's available next year. I kind of like what I think hockey and maybe football does, where if you draft him, you don't have to immediately sign him. You have his rights for 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
As they go through college, finish college, and then enter again.
In football, they have their rights until the next draft cycle.
Okay.
And
I do something like that.
And similar to like what baseball does. But
because I mean, what's the point of, for example, the Timberwolves, since they have literally the league's worst winning percentage ever, doing routinely horrible and getting top draft picks and them not signing because, well, the team's miserable.
Yeah. This is the first year they've changed the rule because before the lottery was announced.
And the Timberwolves got boned and moved down a slot.
Yeah. So they changed the rules on the lottery. They smoothed out the percentages a little bit. And also before in past lotteries, the players had to declare and stay in the draft before the lottery happened. They've now moved that date back a week or so. So now he has time to back out of the draft. So
the funniest tweets I saw last night after the lottery had taken place were with the first pick of the NFL draft, 2020 NFL draft, the Oakland Raiders select defensive end Zion Williamson, doing the tongue-in-cheek, obviously, towards Kyler Murray, switching sports.
So, Ben, do you think Bo Jackson's a punk? And it hurt his image not signing with the Bucks and going and playing baseball instead?
Tim Belcher,
I didn't say that Zion's a punk necessarily. If I did, I do apologize. I think it's going to hurt his image.
I'm sorry, yeah.
But the difference is Bo Jackson was not slated. I didn't follow football back in the mid '80s, so I can't.
Overall pick by Tampa in '86.
Is he a punk? Well, he did have other options. He had baseball to fall back on.
And the reason he didn't sign is that the owner of the Buccaneers, Hugh Culverhouse, one of the worst NFL owners ever, told Bo, "Hey, I'm going to fly you into Tampa for this workout." Yada yada. Bo gets on the plane. And Bo says, "Hey, this is not going to ruin my eligibility for my baseball season for my senior year." And he goes, No. Well, we've checked it out. And it did. And he got booted from the baseball team because he was no longer eligible to be an amateur athlete because he took that flight to Tampa. And so when they drafted him, he said, "Nope, I'm not signing with you. You ruined my senior season of baseball. Deuces."
That's a lot different than
I understand.
I just don't want to play for Tampa Bay because, when did they're what, like 77 or around that time is when they became an NFL team. And they were, terrible all the way into the mid 80s when Jackson came around. It's a little different. He didn't say he didn't want to play for him. He had a different.
No, I understand.
It wasn't like Eli, like I'm not going to San Diego because I don't want to play for San Diego.
Or Travis Lee in the Twins when they took him 2 overall. Yep. And they traded and he went to Arizona and he ended up being terrible. So I think you guys won out there. Anyway, it's just interesting to see that Zion is going to be this guy. And we also talked about how he's probably going to sign with Rich Paul, who's LeBron's guy, which means that he's going to be an Upper Deck exclusive. So like Ben Simmons, LeBron, and Michael Jordan, he will not have autographs Jeter for a long time in Panini. So yeah, Panini's gonna have to live without having Zion and with autographs of Zion in their product. So moving on, Beckett Plus is coming out. They've launched it. It's an online access to print articles, hot lists, and also additional exclusives. It got announced, I think it was the last day or two. And what it does is some of the features, you're going to get all the features from the main Beckett sports magazines: baseball, basketball, football, hockey, the Sports Card Monthly, the Vintage Collector, which I think is anything in this from 79 back. And you'll also get additional articles and content through news sections that is for the subscribers only. So you can subscribe for 1 month for $5. A full year is only going to run you $40. You also can do a 2-week trial for just $1. So, which I think is an awesome thing. Hey, come here for 2 weeks, see if you use it. Because usually when you buy a subscription, you're using it a lot early on. So that first 2 weeks will determine that for $1, right? Try it out. So they sent that out today. It's so it's all online, and you do get subscriptions to all of their features in the magazine. So not pricing, but the articles and everything. So which is what we like in there. I like the articles.
I like looking at the pictures.
Yeah. Ryan Cracknell always has good stories in there. One of my favorites was I bought was about the 80s, the cards to own from the 80s. I actually bought that Beckett.
The 80s issue, yep.
Yeah. I have it right. Actually, I have it right here. I was cleaning up. And
I don't know that it's the best name, but the service idea is not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, this was January of this year that this came out. So That was the awesome one. And then there's also one that's Vlad Guerrero Jr. that actually has a tweet in there for me, so I physically bought that one as well. So I just made a mess. Sweet.
No,
Also,
print media is dying.
yeah,
and to
so all
see,
the online stuff's cool.
so you see them working. I mean, they've got to figure out a different, business model that's going to be able to be adaptable as the market changes. So hey, it may not be for everyone. Buy it if you like it, try it out, like you said. But hey, Beckett's trying, and you got to give him credit for trying to find a new medium to deliver news about the hobby, as well as pricing for them. You take that for what it is.
And $40 isn't. I mean, for a year, it's not bad.
For people like anybody obviously that owns an LCS, anybody that does a lot of pricing online. If that's your either your business, people like Brent Williams, Chris Torres that have a lot in sales.
Chris is in chat. I mean, Chris, you don't have to tell us, but would you value an online price guide from Beckett? So if you hear it, let us know.
That literally like $3 a month is what you're paying, more or less.
So interesting to see. Oh, dude, the world is about to come to an end on Twitter. I might have to mute some words on my Twitter timeline, and they include the words Bowman Mega Box. Bowman Mega Box Mania is upon us, fellas. Top said they would release more on the release date soon, and I love Ben Aguirre at Cardboard Icons tweeted out they already have. And
what had happened was
he tweets out a photo of a coupon from Series 1 that the coupon's good for May 22nd through November 11th.
September 11th.
September 11th. Yes.
We're not British.
Yeah. And they're exclusively at Target. Only at Target. There was some chatter and some scuttlebutt, I guess, on the Facebook group that someone saw them at a Walmart. So if you saw them at a Walmart, that'd be very interesting. They went up in price. Last year they were $14.99 for the Mega Box. This year they're $20, the same price as a Blaster. And they're going to be in those little fun red end caps in the toys and sporting goods section.
I saw someone with a good picture of this. Essentially, it was the red end cap, but it had nothing but not Bowman.
I'm pretty sure that was Chris.
Maybe it was.
And I saw Ivan showed a video of the XL boxes in the aisle and just going, who knows what was all in there, but maybe they were Bowman Mega Boxes. Last year, I did stop in occasionally at Targets to see this. I never saw them in Northern California. And I have another collector here, Van the Man on Twitter. He actually went to every Target in Sacramento area, like every day, to find them, and they never made it to Sacramento. So, yeah, there's the tweet. They never made it to Sacramento. Anyway, in the Mega Boxes, they have two special inserts: the Rookie of the Year favorites, and I'm ready for the show. And I believe in the story that Topps put out, it said Ratty for the show. They forgot the E. And earlier this week, they misspelled Albert Pujols in a tweet. So, yeah. And then tons and tons of people with carts full. I know Big Cat's cards, I think it was his birthday. He's already He bought 24 of these boxes, and he already pulled a Vlad Guerrero autograph. So, there's also image variations and autos in these, so you can get them. You're going to have people buying them and then trying to sell them for $200, 200% markup. And it'll be just interesting to see. I mean, it's just boom. They made so much of it this year. I can tell you that because we were talking before the show. There was a guy, David Themish or whatever. We talked about him before, I think, on the show. He got picked up cases 62 through 82 of Bowman this year. Like, this is just one dude opening 82 cases of Bowman. I think of all the breakers, all the cases that they're open. There's just so much of this product this year that long term, with Wander Franco being the guy, and even not overdoing Joey Bart, there's not a lot of other huge prospects.
So you're saying I should be able to get a Twins team set for like $1?
Yeah, you should. You should.
That's called the softball.
Anyways, moving on, because that's all I can stomach about that. The 2019 rookie premieres this weekend down in LA. Actually starts tomorrow and goes through the 19th. It is presented by Panini America, and we'll have the top 40 picks. We'll have 40 top picks in the NFL draft there. So there's 8 quarterbacks, 11 running backs, 17 wide receivers. Remember, guys, there's only 1 receiver and 1 running back taken on the first round. There's 3 tight ends, 1 defensive end, which was Nick Bosa. He's the only defensive player there. It was a very interesting list of players that are going to be there. And I'm looking over the list, and you're going to see like Alexander Madison of the Vikings, a running back. You're going to see probably a ton of his autographs, right? Some of these Tony Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys,
West Virginia's Will Greer,
West Virginia, Easton Stick, Los Angeles Chargers. Be ready to collect a lot of his autographs. Darius Slayton of the New York Giants. Miles Sanders of the Eagles should have a little bit of value being a Penn State back, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys in here. Hunter Winfrey of the Raiders.
Straight thought. Isn't there a Padre with that name?
Which one?
Hunter
but it's spelled differently. Instead of a W, it's an E at the end.
Okay.
But I know Mojo's going to be down there, and they're going to be doing some videos. Yeah, this rookie class is pretty pedestrian. You got Riley Ridley in there for you, Dub. I'm all waiting for Jake Fromm. Anybody that can beat out those other 2 quarterbacks he's kicked out of Georgia tells you really how good he is. Oh.
Dude.
I'm dying about the chat here right now. Sorry about that. So, Cardboard Icon, we stole a lot of tweets from Cardboard Icon. I don't know if Ben Guire is still in here, but he broke some news, I think, a little bit. I was unaware of this, and I don't think you guys were either. Another release of Topps 2019 at ballparks, maybe only. He tweeted out, anyone seen any Clayton Kershaw from Topps Kid promo set from baseball stadiums? His son found these, and it's a picture of a bunch of Topps cards on the ground at the A's game last week. Probably a Kids Zone giveaway. I'm assuming there's a Kershaw no gloss front, and it had the prefix CP on the back of the card. So here's a picture of what they're interesting. I mean, they're the same photos from Series 1. You
can even see the gloss look like right here.
Yeah. So I haven't seen these, and I wasn't aware of them.
I don't think they're in the database.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Something to keep. We'll update if we find out what.
You guys have any information on this? Let us know. We'd love to share with everybody. Because that's another team set that Ben's gonna have to trace down.
Of course. And I mean, there's a Giant and a Royal right there.
I know, and they're both rookies. So, yeah. You all right, Ben?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. I'm just making sure you're being a little quiet tonight.
No,
are you thinking about mega boxes? Is that what you're doing?
I am at Walmart, no less.
Yeah, you're just dreaming. You're like, I can't wait to go start scavenging targets for mega boxes.
Well, what I want to do is I want to buy them all up and then get all the cards graded, because buying Bowman and getting them graded, those are my 2 favorite things.
Yeah.
I think you have
a little crush on Jake from NorCal, by the way. New listener.
Well, he does like 1987 tops. Anytime somebody says 87 tops, it gets my my attention.
Yeah.
See, I thought you were just looking for the next witty retort to Rich.
Oh, the battle between Rich and Ben.
We're approaching the 1 hour mark. So right now, Rich is probably tucking himself in bed.
Rich, we only have 2 more segments here, Rich, or 2 more topics.
I know.
Before we leave.
He's turning off his Antiques Roadshow. He's tucking himself into bed.
Yes, as he has his warm milk, and I've never met Rich. I think I would love to meet him. Just the stories he's forgotten are more, in his experiences in the hobby are more than I've ever had or probably will ever have. So, yeah, that's the guy we need to get on the show. So if someone could work on that for us.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I know we've had an interview with him, but I would like to talk to him.
Yeah, we did.
Sunday.
I think he was our first non-podcast show, if I'm not mistaken.
he
The
was
live
our
on
first
location.
live on location, and we tried to do one from one of our shows, but it came out really blurry because the internet there is terrible, and they wanted to charge me like $18 to borrow the Wi-Fi. So
Yeah, we'll get Rich on. He's our designated mother of the show. He kind of keeps track.
oh, did you just dub the national anthem is playing on the TV and it's about to switch to snow? Oh God, I'm dying. Oh man. And hey, I want to give it up. Last night I hung out with Dub and Cardboard Icons as I opened my two boxes of Topps Big League Baseball. So it's on my Big Shep page on YouTube if you want to hang out for 40 minutes. It was fun. For a while I was just talking to myself and then they popped in, so that was nice. So God, it's not fair. This hobby is not fair, Ben. Did you know that? It's just not.
I did. Every time I say it, though, I make a lot of new friends on Twitter.
Like why can't I always just get what I want when I spend my $200? Huh? Why?
Because I'm busy pulling the Babe Ruths.
Yeah. On Facebook, no less, someone posted this. I don't know where this was sent in our DMs here. I don't know exactly quite where this came from.
No,
this was actually from the Scammers group, I believe. I think it might have been from like one of the Keep It Real groups.
Okay. Purchased, I'm just going to read through this and then we'll chat. Purchased a box of first off the line Prism football, opened all packs in front of store owner, and 0 hits came out. No redemptions, no points, no autos. Only a few, only base, a few refractors, and a few colors. He said, meaning the owner, I believe, he would contact Panini, but never received any calls back from them. Ultimately, I submitted a claim, and they sent me 3 of the crappiest autographs out there. When advising the store owner of this, he said he would contact Panini again. Of course, no feedback from Panini. At this point, I suggest we settle the issue amongst each other and possibly split the difference of the box. It goes here of the box cost. I even offered to send him all of the hits the Panini hits, or I could simply return them to Panini. His response. Here was his response. Thoughts on proceeding at this point. The owner responds, so I owe you $200 because Panini didn't load their product properly. Yeah. So, wah.
That screams of choosy beggars.
Yeah. You got your 3 hits. You didn't like them, so now you want more money because you didn't like this. Well, if you'd pulled those out of a box, would you have asked to split the cost of the box because you got shitty boxes?
Well, and he said that they sent him crappy. Prism just came out, did it not? Am I mistaken? It just came out over the last week or so.
Yep.
So to say, well, Panini hasn't responded. Okay, well, it just came out. It's not like you filed this claim in January and here it is May. But the bottom line is, you're right, Tim. What if he had pulled those 3 autos? And it's all subjective, right? Because if I had opened up a box of 2012 Topps Chrome Baseball and pulled Colin Cowgill and Tommy Malone and Jared Parker, and those are my 3 autos, dude, I would have been ecstatic because they're all Oakland A's.
How'd you know what I got in my boxes?
I'm saying, dude, because yeah, but it's all subjective. You're saying crappy autos based on what? Based on resale value? Based on the fact that you don't collect those particular players or teams? What's your qualifier? Basically you got screwed. That sucks. Panini did step up and gave you something, but how is it the LCS's fault? What got pulled out of it?
This is just this is this. Everybody gets a trophy bullshit. There's winners and losers, and everybody wins and it's fair, and I get all the cards I want. In the chat, if you want something from a product, go buy that card.
Right.
Don't buy the box hoping to get it. Go buy it. It's easy. Somebody's willing to sell it because they don't want it or they want to make money off of it. You just want the huge hit for a very low cost. You want to pay a fraction of what it's worth.
But I didn't get any super fractors.
It's fun to get that big hit in a box. No doubt. No doubt. But at the same time, going out and buying it and then having that card you wanted so bad in your collection feels just as good.
Well, and there was a few people, if you read through the comments, that are like, well, the LCS, the LCS should, customer service. It's like, no, the LCS did offer to contact Panini on behalf of the customer. There's your customer service.
That's already above and beyond for most shops.
Yeah, and now Panini has reached out and replaced the missing hits. Okay,
They did the job.
So Panini, hey, sorry that during the distribution process, during the packing process, that this box was devoid of the listed hits. Here you go. Panini did customer service. The LCS did customer service. This guy is just complaining. I don't think that the LCS did anything wrong customer service wise. And I'm sorry, and maybe this is just because I'm an asshole sometimes, and I apologize for using that word, but I'd have been like, hey, dude, if this is the way you want to be, you're welcome to not come back to my shop. To basically try to extort or blackmail me because you're unhappy. Sorry, dude. The door goes both ways.
The responsibility in that lies with Panini, and they've tried to remedy it.
And it would be different if he sent, like Deb said, if he sent instead of what the 3 crap autos were.
Well, yeah, because again, it's subjective, right? I mean, okay, you just mentioned Dub. If it was something from his Atlanta teams, would he be upset about it?
No.
It's all subjective, because what happens if you hold on to these and next year these guys are fantastic? I mean, granted, let's say it was a box of Bowman instead, Bowman baseball. Okay. These 3 guys might be the next. I mean, nobody was on the radar of Mike Trout when he got pulled out of 2011 stuff.
Or like 2015-ish. Everyone wanted Chris Bryant, but Aaron Judge is in some of those sets.
Yeah, no, Judge Autumn threw in a box. I had no idea who he was. He's a big, tall freak from, Fresno State.
Yeah. I mean, I went back and looked through some old autos a couple months ago, and there's a 2011 pro debut, Chris Davis, sitting in there, which is a Brewer, but it's different because now he's an Oakland A. So now I should pull that out and put that again. What you're upset about today, you might not be upset about tomorrow. The simple fact was this guy felt entitled.
Yep. No, he does. But you know what? If you haven't seen the video of Cardboard Icons, and he bought out a 7-Eleven again of all their Panini Prism packs for 99 cents, which is a steal. Because you can pull $10,000, $20,000 cards out of those packs, according to someone. His name might not be to mention. I figure we should just talk about that gentleman now and call him Voldemort, right?
Which guy?
Reference?
Gary, the one that should not be mentioned, the one shall not be named.
The one that someone has an article coming out on soon.
Yeah. And we should just Voldemort V. I just think it's funny. No, but the kids were opening. It was his kids and then his nephew, and they were opening up packs, and they got points, and they asked him what the points were for, and they said, "Well, it replaces like an autograph," and they go, "Well, that's dumb." The best marketing people that you can go is give your products to children, have them open it and tell you what it's about, what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it, and they will give you the God's honest truth. And they were singing a song, "Points or Poop, Points or Poop," and it was, they just did it on their own. And I think we need to have, here's the video, "Points or Poop, Points or Poop." Kraken Wax needs to make a shirt that says "Points or Poop," and the proceeds need to go to these 3 little kids and their collecting habits soon.
Well, Ben is trying to get his kids and his nephew into collecting. And what better way to get him into collecting to open up a pack of cards?
He bought all those. I asked if I could buy some, and he told me no. And then I was like, wow. Mentally, I just kept watching his feed that day. Like, I stopped working because he was tweeting every few minutes. How much fun that would be. I would to find a cool find like that. First of all, let's start there. but second, just to sit down and just see the joy. And not even want to open packs, hang with them and watch them see the joy on their faces. They're busting, pulling out autos, and I think they pull like a green Trey Young, and they pull in just the color and get and see what it's like from their eyes. It's like watching your favorite movie for the first time again, and not knowing you've seen it before. It would just be that awesome experience to see, how much fun and enjoyment they had out of it. Because that's what it's all about right there at the end of the day, right? That's why we all started collecting. It wasn't because I pulled this Baker Mayfield and it's worth, $10,000. So, anyway, points are poop. Points are poop, folks. It kind of brings us to a topic. We talked about Big League Baseball earlier and it being a great product, for youngsters and all ages. But the 3 short prints that were brought up, people really and I think Bowie Main said he's out. He was going to buy some, but now he's out because they've short printed this product as well. And all this stuff. My question to you guys is, and Ben kind of asked these questions, so I stole them, but I want to ask you guys tonight, is it time to do away with short prints and products?
So I was thinking about this earlier, and in that I only have 3 cards left in my Twins top run, I thought it would be cool to go and pick up the short printed cards. So there's only like 1 or 2 a year, 1 or 2 a product, and there's, top Series 1, Series 2 update, right? And then the more I thought about it, I don't want to do that. You can draw comparisons to like high series, but it's really not. And it's really not a hit. And I found one in a 50-cent bin. I asked the guy, like, I'm pretty sure that's a short print. He's like, yeah, no, that's why it's in the 50-cent bin. It's not a hit, and even relics are only a couple dollars. If it's not a fractor, if it's not an auto, nobody cares. The set collectors absolutely loathe them or love them. Why do we need them? Because Topps wants to add value to each and every box?
What do you think, Ben?
We had been talking about like the Chrome cards a few weeks back after they came out in Gypsy Queen, and we'd said, Chrome cards are or at least that was my point. As beautiful as they are, because I did collect them, they're not necessary. They're not necessary in Heritage or Flagship or Ginter. Leave just a couple of sets, devoid of Chrome. And the same thing with short prints. Okay, I just picked up a card that I think I have sitting here. This one here. This is a Chris Davis Dugout Peaks, super short print from opening day, right? Opening day boxes were $20, $30, whatever you picked one up at. This was one of 2 Dugout Peak Chris Davises I saw hit eBay. I ended up picking this one up for $23, but for the longest time, that particular one was sitting for $100 or best offer. For a long time, it was sitting for $70 until the guy finally got serious about lowering it, and it sold to me immediately. And why do we need super short prints in opening day? These cards are supposed to be for our kids, for the younger crowd, for the people that don't have the fiscal budget to be spending hundreds of dollars each and every product. And Big League Baseball is another one right behind opening day as far as cost to consumer. And it's like, we don't need short prints. Our friend Robbie is exactly right. At what point do you just look at it and go, I'm tired of collecting? You're making so much of this stuff, and you're making some things difficult to come by. Yeah. These super print, your short prints and super short prints for certain products are great. Do them for 90% of the products, but leave it alone. Again, Chrome doesn't need to be in Gypsy Queen and Heritage. Short prints don't need to be in Big League Baseball opening day and maybe 1 or 2 others.
Well, and I'll let you finish.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Two other critiques I have for it is that they seem to use the best photos for the short prints, the ones that people might actually want. For example, Series 1, Series 2, you get Stadium Club looking cards short printed. Well, if you're trying to release the best product since last year's best product, shouldn't this be part of your base set? And two, as I said in chat with the 91 Upper Deck Jordan, there's no longer that joy of, hey, what is this? Why is this in this product? There's no surprise. It's just, oh, yeah, okay. Well, he's slightly different posed in this shot, or he's got a red cap and a blue cap on this one.
Yeah, like Dub said, he spends half his time when he opens Heritage looking if they have weird socks.
Or traded ad lines, or
that stuff to me is dumb. And the thing is that you're only a fan of a short print, a super short print if you pull one. And I'm guilty, right? So I bitched and moaned how Gleyber Torres and Acuna had super short prints in Series 2 last year. I ended up pack pulling both of them. And then I bought secondary ones for my PC because the other two went into my sets. And I was super happy. And now, but then they got rookie cards and update. And now those update cards for Acuna are insane. And the short prints, like I paid anyway. I think if you're going to do it, you stop with just the short prints because I feel like now in Topps in flagship there's like 40, right? It's
40 or 50, yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then on top of it, then you have super short prints, and then so it's like,
well, but wait, just wait. You know it's coming. They're going to have colored short prints, numbered to 3.
Yeah.
Number to 10.
Yeah.
No, it's just frustrating. And I don't.
In more expensive products, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Because then you can pick and choose which products you choose to collect. You know, we've talked about Allen and Ginter before, and it's insane. It's very diverse checklist that's not all baseball, and how it frustrates certain collectors that aren't familiar with the product. Cool. Then guess what? Ginter's not for you. But Big League Baseball is for the younger crowd. It is for the set collectors. It's for people who are on, budgets. Don't price them out by having literally, when I bought that Dugout Peaks, those were the only two I had seen. That's it. Across all mediums, Beckett Marketplace, ComC, Sport Lots, all of those included. I could not find any that were in what I thought it was worth, which was, the $20 to $30 range. And it's not fair to the kids or anybody that's looking to collect a team set to have to spend a lot of money on a low-end product, because super short prints are a necessity according to the manufacturer.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just fun. I mean, it's funny to hear. And, my big thing is like Heritage, right? So last few years, it feels like the short prints and the base set, like especially this year, we said it was like all the stars were in that 401 to 450 range. And they're trying to match it up to the way it used to be released. When the high series would come out, there was very limited numbers of those cards. But then on top of it, later this year, we're going to get high series 2019 Heritage.
Yep.
Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. Those should be the short printed ones. These other ones from 401 to 450 should be regular prints. And then you just make a little bit less product of the high number, which you can find all day long for years after it comes out, boxes of, and there's no more value. I don't get it, because you're trying to make a false market with these.
Look at you using my words. I love this. You're coming around, brother.
But no. But it really is, because they're saying, hey, we're going to short print this 50 card set because that's the way it used to be, because they didn't make as much high series as but then you release a high series.
Okay, so let me ask you this then, because I'm pretty sure you guys are both going to agree with me. If you're doing it as an ode to yesteryear, the cards of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, which had,
6 or 7 series sometimes.
You had a first release, you had a mid-release, you had, high numbers, etc. Wouldn't you agree that that's okay with doing that with Heritage or flagship? But not everything. Not everything has to be short printed where, every new checklist that comes out, the checklist is going to be broken down as an ode. We don't need that across 37 products. 2 or 3, okay. We'll let you have your fun.
Yeah, Dub's point here. There's one SP. It was 401 to 450 per box
this year. Yep.
Yeah, and you have to buy like 2 or 3 boxes to make just the 1 through 400 set because of the inserts and the chrome they put in there. Heritage to me doesn't need inserts, right? Anyway, now I'm just frustrated.
Not traditional inserts. Oh, for Heritage, I would do like the 1970s. They had the fold-up scratch-off books. Or 1969, you had the stamps. So you have the little.
But see, I get that because that made sense. But sometimes
not every year needs the then and nows or this year in history or
blah blah blah. This is what kind of shoes they wore. It leads to this next thing, and I stole this. This was an idea from, we should just announce that episode 48 was the Ben Aguirre episode. And we did a standalone interview with him, but obviously he's taken over the show behind the scenes because he gave me this idea, collector fatigue. And this kind of leads into collector fatigue, right? You get to that point and you're just like beat up by all these different things you have to chase and run down. And Ben on our show, Ben Wilson, wrote a great article about collecting and PC and kind of for like a new collector, like, where to go. And Steph and I both are going to have add to this article with our own thoughts.
Yep.
And so, but it leads to collector fatigue. Have you guys ever experienced collector fatigue where you just were like, I've had too much card collecting, I need to step back?
Every single year. Especially right around this time where we're 4 or 5 sets in and there's a new release every week. And I am not even finished with the one 3 releases ago. And now there's, for example, this week, Prism and Big League just dropped. I mean, I'm only collecting one team, so that makes it a whole lot easier. But it's definitely tiring when there's a new release every week or every 2 weeks to have to. I mean, as a budget collector, you don't have millions of dollars, so you can't just go out and buy your full on team set every week. So it's easy to get in that rut, and that's where a focus is great and a time to step back and actually look at what you do have rather than the brand new shiny.
Mm-hmm.
And say, hey, it's nice, and those are nice, and I'll have it on a checklist for whenever I get around to it. But no, my avatar is not up for sale.
Yeah, Ben, have you ever had collector fatigue?
Yeah, in fact, I actually wrote an article on my blog that I can shoot over to the website about rainbow collecting and when Cespedes. And the basic premise of the whole article was, why do they make so many, and why do we feel a need to collect them? Well, they make them, so we buy them. But I just got a DM just a little bit ago from our friend Chef Chris, and he said there are 45 Ramon Laureano cards in Prism. When now he's factoring all the 1-of-1s and everything as well. So, another friend Tanner Jones can attest to how many different Canseco cards. Just again, if Chris is just collecting Laureanos, 45. Cool. If that's the only product that comes out each year, I'm good with it. But it's not. And there's going to be a new checklist with new cards next week. And that's the definition of collector fatigue, where I can't collect every A's card because I just can't. Not necessarily even financially. What if you just can't even find them all?
Like Topps Oots. Thanks, Mark, by the way.
Yeah.
Appreciated that surprise mail day.
That's another thing. Yeah, it's regional. I've got to rely on other people to open up product.
Yeah, a couple things. The Uts aren't on the West Coast. We don't have a Meyer, and I've been to the three of the 5 Walgreens within 40 miles of my house. None have had the Walgreens packed up.
For what it's worth, I just identified about 100 Walgreens cards at work today. So,
well, I'm just saying, like, and I ran into this really nice gal that worked at a Walgreens down the street from my office, and she goes, "Hey, what are you looking for?" And I told her, and she's like, "Oh, the seasonal section's my area. Like, I oversee setting the planogram here." And being in retail, I know how that goes. And she showed me the planogram, and she goes, "Yeah, I don't have any spots here. I just got this planogram this week, and there's no spots for baseball cards here. We have them around the corner, and it's those $5 boxes." So I was like, "Oh, sweet." And she goes, "Maybe Folsom." So which is about 20 minutes away, drove over there. Nothing. Looked exactly the same as the one by my office. So I've had collector fatigue. When I got back in, and I was really gung ho and going about it in 2012. About 2015, like I stepped away. In late 15 through most of 16, like I was just very out of it. And then just kind of backed away because it was so much going on in my life. But two, like I just didn't know where to go in the hobby, and kind of started finding my way back in. And I'm here now, and there's nights where we'll do this show and I'll stay up and I'll do more card related stuff before and after each show. Or there's also nights where it's like, God, I need to go and do something else and get away from it. And I have that. I'll have collector fatigue maybe once a week, and I just have to because it's so much on my mind lately, in the DMs and chats we have back and forth. It keeps me focused, but it happens, and I think it's just because there's so much going on, and there's so much coming at us all the time, and during sports, and it's just during that season, and that's where we get overloaded. Did you guys have a way you got out of it?
Well, like I was hitting on, I sit back and actually flip through the binders that I have and enjoy what I have. And if it means that I'm making a checklist for the off season, the best time to actually pick up some of this stuff, the non-rare one of one type stuff, then I'll do that. I got a box from you last week and I flipped through everything. I know what's in it, but I haven't actually sorted and filtered it out and everything else. Just because, with work and everything else, I see way too many cards a day.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much you can do, and it's supposed to be a hobby, so I like to keep it that way.
Two quick thoughts on it. One sign for me personally that leads me to believe that there's collector fatigue or collection fatigue is when the new product comes out. Doesn't matter what product, just a new product comes out, and you're looking over the checklist and you're praying that there's no more on the checklist. As a collector, you should be wanting more and more, right? But at what point do you look at this checklist and go, please be it, please be it. Oh, there's another one. Dang it, I want that one too. And all you're hearing is cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And I know my finances and you know yours and everybody knows their own respectively. You just don't want any more on that checklist because guess what? Next week's going to have another checklist. And how I got out of it personally is I don't necessarily think you do. I think you're just kind of the completionist takes over at that point. One thing is though, like with tier 1, I didn't write down any of it on my checklist of things I need to get. Big League Baseball, I did base and inserts. Pro debut, base and inserts. Tier 1 is like, hey, if I search 2019 Chris Davis and one happens to be in my price range, I'll grab it. But I'm not going to go out and seek it. I did ask myself one question that I think, yeah, you got to start out too. Personal question, self. Is my collection complete without this card being a part of it? Is my collection okay not having another Chris Davis, or do I have to have all 45 Ramon Laureanos? Or am I okay just selecting a handful that I really enjoy and moving on? Do I need every color of every player? Because if you answer that yes, you're going to go broke. There's just too much of it.
Well, this is how I got out of it. I sat down one day and I looked at all of the stuff that I had here and really said, I kind of looked at it like as a business plan. And it's the thing of being focused and having a goal and having like a few steps to get to that goal and what's it going to be. And, the one thing you have to do in business is you got to be somewhat patient because you don't want to start out and blow your load early and then you're done, right? You don't want to run through all your capital right away and then be done and out. And it never went anywhere. And if you take a little bit slower process and you slowly build up, you can build sustain for the long run. And I looked and I said, what do I like collecting the most? And I sat down, I said, I love flagship baseball. So I made it a point to, instead of buying all this other product, I'm going to buy flagship baseball. I can either buy complete sets from someone, or I can go out and I can buy a box or two and then be happy with those boxes and hand build a set, which I find fun. So that's what I did. And then I said, you know what? I'm only going to really go after and get George Brett's. I'm only going to go out and get, and I kind of just limited it to what it was, and everything else went away. And I stopped collecting autos and relics. And if they come across the right price, I pick them up and I add them. And that's the thing. I think, as we end this little segment here, you really have to take a look at what you really enjoy collecting. And if you're just collecting to get it, to have it, to hold on to it, and you don't enjoy them, you're not looking at them, you're just doing it because you feel obsessed to do so, take a step back and look at it and see what it is. But guys, we lost Rich 30 minutes ago. We're at 90 minutes. This is where we need to be. So here's a picture. This is Steph. This was taken minutes before the show started, of my baseball set or football sets on the left. My baseball sets on the right. My PCs are on the top there. Now, not all of them are complete. All the football binders are empty. But
that one needs to move.
Yes, it's just sitting there for right now. My Mike Trout was it was tongue in cheek a little bit. I'll explain that later. But most of the football sets I have, except for anything after 2000, I think anything I've up to like 97 or 98 in there. But all the other baseball sets are up there, and it's one of those things and there's all my pages to put my football cards in. So this is what I like to do, and this is where my sets went. And football's ended, unfortunately, in 2015 will be the last set. And then baseball, I'm gonna have to figure out a way where I'm gonna put 2020 because I'm running out of space because that's 2019 at the bottom row there. So we will
another Billy binder.
Yeah, another Billy bookcase from IKEA. But the problem is just space in here. I maybe need to just buy a bigger house. So anyway, guys, final thoughts before we run out of here tonight.
Keep collecting and don't get blocked by Ben.
I like in Ben Aguirre, longer shows. I'm down.
So that's what we need to do: get Ben and Rich on a show together and let them duke it out over how long our shows should be.
I'm just sorry. I was looking through the. You know what? I did steal that the Carl's Jr. 79 because that was not a number in high school. I actually have had that since 1994. I stole as a freshman and have ever since. So only number I ever wore in football. And hey, Jake, if you're in town, let us know. We Ben and I are pretty close, and we could meet up and hang out. We have a card show coming up August 24th or 5th. I don't know, whatever that Saturday in August is. I don't remember off the top of my head. There's a show
and let's go do some paintballing, dude. Is that an offer, Jake? I mean, come on.
I would love to shoot Ben with a paintball gun.
No, we'd have to be on the same team because otherwise we'd just be like over in the corner like Beavis and Butthead.
Ben, you always look up to me. I like. Did you like that the other day when I said you always look up to me?
Yeah, well, some of us are challenged. If it's height by width, I might have you beat. But if it's just height,
I don't like where this show went.
So besides that, guys, remember we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 Central on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube.
Or from your car.
Your car. Now, follow us on Twitter about the cards. You can follow Ben at our trading cards. Follow Steph at actually at hertradingcards.com, right? Remember? Follow Steph at JunkWaxSwins. You always follow me at BigShip79 and check out our blog page about the cards.wordpress.com and share your hobby stories and great pulls. Send your questions our way. And as always, guys, keep collecting. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.